Hiya ones. In the last video we were looking at addition facts within 10, and I was showing you that with the 10 frame, if you remember, but we didn't have a look at all at subtraction facts. And when you know a way of making a different number in lots of different ways, you also know the subtraction facts to go with it, because subtraction is the inverse of addition, meaning that it will undo your add. You put your two parts together to make a whole, and then you can undo that by doing a subtraction calculation. The easiest way for me to show you what I mean is by using the Numicon, Mrs. Pearce's favourite resource. So I've got a 7 piece here, so that's one part of our calculation, and then I've got a 3 piece, that's the other part of our calculation. So I've got one part that's 7, one part that's 3. So when I put those parts together, we've got 10 altogether. 7 add 3 equals 10. Well, now I've got 10, and you can see my 7 part and my 3 part. If I take that 3 part away from my 10, it leaves me with the 7. If I have my 7 piece and then put my 3 part back on, I've now got 10, because 7 add 3 is 10. I've now got my 10. If I take my 7 part away, it's going to leave me with my 3 part. And then 3, add the 7 again, gives us the 10 again. So they both have a special relationship together. So what we're going to do today is think about what we did with 10 on our 10 frame, and we're going to see what subtraction facts we now know, because we know all the different ways of making 10. So let's have a look at our 10 frame then, from when we did this the other day. So at the moment we've got, if you remember, we used apples to help us to understand the maths that we were doing. So we had 10 bad apples. The blue ones were the bad ones, weren't they? And the red ones were the nice juicy red apples. So we've got 10 bad apples. So 10 is one part. And how many juicy red apples have we got at the moment? That's right, we haven't got any, we've got 0. And so because of that, we know that 10 add 0 equals 10. So I'm just going to write that down on the board. So I've got on here 10 add 0 equals 10. Now, because I know that, I also know a subtraction fact, okay? Because if I've got 10 here and I take away the 0 part, I'm still going to have 10, because I haven't taken any away. 0 is nothing. So let me put on here 10 take away 0 equals 10. And we know that because we know that 10 add 0 equals 10. So then if we use the 10 frame like we did last time to generate another way of making 10, if you remember, we used a special system and we turned one over at a time. So now our rotten apples part is 9, and now we have 1 juicy red apple, which is the other part. So we know that 9 add 1 more, the red juicy apple, equals 10. So I'll write that onto here. So 9 add 1 equals 10. Okay, so put that on there. But it also tells us something about our subtraction facts, because when you look on here, if I take the 9 part away, it leaves us with 1 juicy red apple. If I've got the 10 apples all together again, if I take away this time the red juicy apple, it will leave me with the 9 part. I can show you that again with the Numicon. Here we've got a 9 piece, and here we've got a 1 piece. 9 and 1 equals 10, okay? So 10, take away the 1 piece, will leave me with the 9. 9, add 1 equals 10. 10, take away the 9 piece, will leave us with 1, okay? So on here I'm going to write, because I know that 9 add 1 is 10, I know that 10 take away the 1 will leave me with 9 again, because we had 9 to begin with, didn't we? We had 9, we added 1, and that made 10. Then when you have 10 and you take the 1 back off again, it leaves you with 9. I'll show you that here. Okay, so we had 9, add 1 more equals 10. So if you take that 1 back off again, you're left with the 9 again. and then we can carry on with our 10 frame again. There we go. So now we have 8 bad apples. That's one part of our 10. And then we have 2 red juicy apples, and that's the other part of our 10. So 8 add 2 equals 10. So if you know that 8 add 2 equals 10, then what subtraction facts do you think you might know? Have a think. Yes, you're right. We've got 10 altogether. If we take away the 2 part of our calculation, it leaves us with the 8 rotten apples, doesn't it? If we start with our 10 apples again, but this time we take away the horrible rotten apples, the 8 of them, 10 take away 8, it leaves us with the 2 juicy apples. So because we know that 8 add 2 more is 10, we know that 10 take away 2 equals 8, and we know that 10 take away 8 will leave us with 2. I wonder, year ones, if you would be able to find for me all the different ways of making 10, and then with that, could you find all of the different subtraction facts that you know because you know the ways of making 10? Now, I was thinking that for each number, what you could do is if you found one way of making 10s, let's do, so I know that 6 and 4 also makes 10. I'll quickly show you that on this 10 frame. Here we go. So there's our 6 and 4. Because I know that 6 and 4 equals 10, I also know that 4 and 6 equals 10. So I'm going to write both of those down on here. 4 add 6 equals 10. But because I know that the 6 part and the 4 part make 10, I know that 10 take away the 4 part will leave me with 6. And I know that if I take away the 6 part from the 10, it will leave me with the 4 part. So because I know that 6 and 4 equals 10, I also know that 10 take away 4 will leave me with 6. And that 10 take away 6 will leave me with 4. So I wonder if for every single way there is of making 10, if you could find the 2 addition facts and the 2 subtraction facts to go with it, either using just normal objects, or if you've made a 10 frame from the time we've done it before, then you could use that. When you've done 10, it's also really, really important that we don't just look at the numbers to 10, but that we also can do the same for all the different ways of making 8, 9, 7, 6, 5. I challenge you to see if you can find all the addition facts and subtraction facts for all those different numbers up to 10. Off you go. Bye.